Howdy, partners. We're in Wisconsin right now, and we got a song for Brody Cuff.
This for you, Brody.
Well, Andy and Bobby, and here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, won't you take me home tonight? Oh, down beside that red firelight. Oh, you gotta let it all hang out. Fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round. Hey, Bobby, what's that, Andy? Now listen here. Hey, you tell it, you tell it. When I was just a skinny lad, never knew no good from bad. I knew life before I left my nursery. Left alone with big fat daddy, she was such a natty. A big woman, you make a bad boy out of me.
Okay, I just realized something here. That song we just started the episode with, they literally introduce it by saying that they're from Wisconsin. Like, we're doing this episode. Yeah. We're doing this episode on a tournament that's happening in Indiana this weekend. And the video that we chose to... Oh my god.
All the Midwest is the same, don't you know?
Okay, well, this is another episode of Deep Dives. I'm here. It's Edwin Budding, your favorite podcast host.
And it's me, Pikachu942, your second favorite co-host.
And we got a third member this week. You might recognize him from his work with the Melee Sats team, aka literally just us.
Literally us.
And a few other people, and from being on the first podcast. But we have Ambi Sinister here. Ambi, how you doing?
What's up? I'm pretty good. I don't have to introduce myself because you did it for me. So we're all good.
Ambi's so sick, dude.
Yeah, so basically today we're going to talk about Full Bloom and sort of all the like cool storylines heading into the event, what players to look out for. We're going to also give our predictions for the event. But I guess the first thing on the agenda is to sort of address the elephant in the room about Full Bloom. If you guys didn't know, basically... I don't even know where to start. Ambi, why don't you...
Not in the room.
Yeah, Ambi, why don't you take the lead here?
Everyone is not going. And by everyone, I mean the gods. They're toast. They're ultimate players now, so they're not attending a Melee event.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, it's really discouraging if you're a TO. And obviously, in our Discord, we have a few TOs like Jack and Stock talk about this sort of thing. And Jack, obviously, he's been very public about being disappointed in this kind of thing. And I sort of empathize with him. Like, this has got to be so demotivating if you're, like, one of the newer age tournament organizers or, like, someone running a regional trying to make that jump to be a super major. Like, how are you supposed to, essentially, he has to compete with something like if that's his goal, he has to compete with a tournament like Genesis or Big House. And it's like, unless you have like that kind of brand recognition, it seems like in today's era of Melee or whatever, it's just hard like to draw top players.
I don't know, I have some thoughts on this, but if you zoom out 1,000 feet, all I'm saying is that you're not allowed to be upset that there's no gods to this tournament and also still like Arcadians. I really just don't think those two values are compatible at all, because everyone's like, oh yeah, Arcadians are really exciting because you get to know like who the next best player is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be great. We're going to have all this exciting gameplay between people of relatively close skill level, and there's none of these pesky good players to stop them. And like Full Bloom is just a more exciting Arcadian because you're not actually banning anyone. They just banned themselves. They didn't want to show up. So yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Like, everyone's all hyped talking about who's going to win the National Arcadian. I want to know who's going to win Full Bloom, because now there's no gods. So
yeah, I know, right?
It's so up for grabs. It's so interesting. It's like, you guys just want to talk about the Arcadian. I'm not about it.
Arcadian's right here.
This is like Arcadian 2.
Yeah, this is like the Super Arcadian. This is like the Super Arcadian.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Who's getting Mewtwo King's old spot in the top 5?
Well, let's not single him out here. I mean, we definitely have.
Let's single him out. He just got 33rd.
Look, we have a member in the top 5 who literally retired from this game in order to go play Ultimate.
Which one?
Which one? Is it Plop? It's Plop, right?
Are we still talking about Music Kings?
Definitely Plop. Yeah,
Maybe it's Mango.
It's kind of funny how this has turned out. Like, I think it's just so bizarre. The top like echelon of play has multiple people who have literally played in more Ultimate tournaments in the first 3 months of this year than Melee.
Even Mango. Even Mango. That just blows my mind.
Wait, has Mango? Yeah. Oh my God, you're right.
Dude, Mango's been talking on Twitter about how he's practicing Ultimate, how he's thinking about switching mains and stuff. Like, he's taking it seriously.
Dude,
It's blowing my mind.
gotta pay the bills.
I actually so the other point I want to bring up before we quickly move on is that it's like it's semi-related to what Ambi was talking about, but I almost feel like better about this overall because I feel better about this overall because we know that when it comes to like watching Top 64, we're not gonna have to watch like a Midwest player who's rising up that we really like have to play like Hungry Box or something and just know that he's inevitably gonna lose. You know, like we get to avoid like normally 5 or 6 sets of super majors where we pretty much know that the outcome is predetermined and that it's gonna be boring.
I don't know. I'm not usually about the whole like, oh, I'm glad that this player won't lose to a better player type stuff. I definitely do think that it's always better when there's more strong players. You guys know my opinion about Arcadians in general and all that stuff. But what I will say is that I am pretty glad that if gods were going to drop, I'm sort of glad from at least from like a spectator's point of view that they all dropped instead of just one.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's pretty cool when there's like a bunch of gods and like a bunch of people that can upset gods. And it's pretty cool when there's no gods. But when there's like a tournament with like Hungry Box and then the second best player is like S2J, that's so lame. Like you're just watching it and it's like, oh wow, okay, well Hungry Box wins the tournament. What a surprise!
Yeah, I really like no god tournaments. Like Full Bloom is reminding me a lot right now of like a tipped off 11 when that happened the same weekend as Summit. None of the top players were there.
Dude, Tipped Off 11 was so sick. Drug Fox had that losers run and everything.
Drug Fox's losers run was so sick. Javi was there. Professor Pro was there. Over Triforce was there.
Yeah, we didn't get to go to Summit tournament.
Yeah, dude, it was, and Nun was there. That was like Nun's first good tournament.
One other thing I want to bring up, just to, I guess, kind of close this topic, is that I think there's this idea among like there was this idea that the like best thing you could do as a TO for your region or for your attendees is like throw a national, right? Like that was the dream of every TO. And I just think in like today's era and moving forward, like if you're a TO and like you're running events, like I can understand why you would want that for like exposure and like your scene and everything. But just like frankly speaking, regionals like hopefully Full Bloom, but like so many regionals I've attended in the past have just been like better player experiences and better attendee experiences than nationals. And I touched upon this in the like about a month ago in a column I wrote reviewing my time at Genesis. But like nationals are like packed convention centers, like setups get taken down early, like you don't get to play Melee the way you want or the way most people want on UCF. Like it just really feels like if you're looking for events to go to, like the fact that another TO might be capped, like yeah, it's probably bad for their like overall growth as a TO or their impact on their scene overall. But as an event attendee, like it is, like I'm not saying that like gods not being at a tournament implicitly makes it better, but it's just like the factors that typically follow that. Like I'm sorry, am I like not making any sense at all?
No, it makes sense. I just think it's not super reasonable to expect that of TOs because I think from the TOs perspective, it's definitely strictly worse, right? But I definitely think that from the attendees' perspective, and even honestly from the spectators' perspective, but not from the viewership perspective, which is a lot what the TOs care about. Like there's all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
the variables don't always interact correctly for that to be what they optimize for.
I guess. No, that's fair. It is a little like I guess I don't want to call myself a consumer, but as like a prospective person that would, or as a prospect for like attending a regional or larger significant event. Yeah. Like for me, I guess it's not fair of me to say like, well, I go to all all these events, so therefore like you should worry about me. But at the same time, that's sort of my approach here. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and I think different TOs have different perspectives on this, depending on like what they want to value as a TO. Because like you can like look at the two diametrically opposed forces, right? Where you have one end, it's like air and like EGTV tournaments, where it's like, we don't give a fuck about you guys at home. Like, you guys don't matter at all. You guys don't make us any money. We're just trying to make it fun for you if you're attending the tournament. And on the other end, you got like Mr. Wizard, who's like, LOL, this tournament
he's
is
like
not...
overtly
Right, but like, you know, Mr. Wizard's like, if you want to have fun at my tournament, go to the casino. You know what I'm saying? It's like very different philosophies. And I think it's really dependent on what like the TO wants out of the tournament, more so than what the spectators do.
Yeah,
That's my
fair
thought.
enough. I think that's a good way to sort of balance out or give more perspective rather than just what I was saying. Pika, do you have any final thoughts?
On what? On like TOs and stuff? I don't
Yeah.
TO, dude.
I mean, for me, it just feels like I guess my sort of final perspective on it is it feels like we're in an era where it's sort of like that dream of running a super major, like, and getting those gods to come to your tournament, getting first class viewership, like that is like that's. I feel like if you're, maybe it's easy of me to say because I don't TO large tournaments, but like if that's your dream, then like seeing what happened with Full Bloom, that's got to be a damn reality check. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably real scary.
Yeah. But we're not here to talk about answers. We're here to talk about the event, and I guess we spoke about Full Bloom and the top player dropout controversy or whatever. So why don't we go into the event itself and talk about some of the notable players going to it?
Okay.
We can talk about sort of like the main top seeds and work our way down and talk about the players from like tournament contenders to people that we think are sleepers or even people that we think could make an upset early on. So let's talk about the number one seed at this event, who's Zane. He, by all accounts, he's probably the overall favorite against the field, but at the same time, like because this is such a because this is such a spread out talent event, there are so many people in bracket that could beat him. I mean, like, obviously,
Yeah, I don't think Zane's winning this event.
I also don't. I think if Zane wins this, I will be very, very impressed.
I mean, looking at his bracket right now, this could be prone to change, but he has Michael and Absent Page, who's probably super favored to beat. He hasn't lost to either. Then he has Swedish, who he typically beats, but Swedish beating him is not impossible. And then he's kind of got the, it's funny looking at this
wall.
Looking at this projected bracket, it says Zane over SJ. Just I don't I don't know if those two play. I think it's donezo.
I mean, to be fair, last time they played at Dome Park, it was very close.
Yeah, but it was very close. But then Zane went to losers, where he had to play the guy he has to play in winter semis,
and he lost
it. And he lost him. So
like, I'm gonna be real. Like, just looking at this bracket, just like on the opposite side of Zane, right? Like, just like the entire opposite side of bracket, you have like S2J, Kzu, Lucky, IBDW, SFAT, Face Rule, PPU, and KJH. And like there's like three of those players I wouldn't consider very, very scary for Zane. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all like players he's either lost to before or S2J, which is just scary.
Like, yeah, even on his side, you got like you got Swedish, Duck, and Rishi. I think all three of those guys could beat him.
Yeah, I mean, Rishi's gotten close before. Duck has literally beaten him last year. Same with Swedish. This is I actually think Zane winning this event would be low-key really impressive. Like, I think
it would be like close to his best tournament ever.
This would be like his best run ever. This would be
just under Shine. Just under Shine.
Oh man, more impressive than Shine.
Wait, no, it's not. Wait, what is wrong with us? He literally got third at Summit, beating Mango and Plup. Like, this is not a.
That's not as impressive as this. Did you watch the sets, dude? I know you're a numbers guy, but watch the sets, dude.
Yeah, I think
this would be way more impressive.
Dude, I think him beating SJ, I've seen their games against each other on stream. I've seen their sets. They're usually pretty brutal. I don't know what his game plan is against him.
He just needs to learn the Falcon matchup from the 7-3 master, Edwin Budding.
Do you think? Okay. Do you think that Zayn maybe I think one thing he could try to study to prepare for this is maybe watch some dart videos. He's in the Midwest. Maybe study another Midwest Marth in the matchup. I'm sure he's already done that. But
Dude, Zane just needs to watch Puff versus Gatsu game 1 over and over again.
Yes.
I think that if SJ is kind of like the main person he's looking out for in bracket. I mean, it's not like to be favorable to Zayn. It's not like SJ's bracket right now is free at all. Like so many of the people there are just as capable as beating him, if not or have beaten him before.
All the people in his path beat him in the last year. Keizu, Lucky, SFAT.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a cakewalk for SJ either. So maybe Zayn wins this event and he doesn't have to play SJ at all.
No, I think Zayn's gonna lose this event by losing in winners finals to IBDW.
Yes, I agree with that.
IBDW is gonna beat Lucky. He's gonna beat SJ. He's gonna beat SFAT. And he's gonna beat Zayn.
You know what's gonna happen?
He's gonna beat S2J in grand finals.
He's gonna beat Swedish in grand finals.
The thing with IBDW is he's just like gotten so much better like in the last 4 months ish or so. If Fiction could bring Zayn close and come literally a Phantom Shine to beating him, how many IBDW is the Fox Marth guy, right? Like every region's got one of those foxes that just
one of those weirdos.
Yeah, one of those
weird foxes who actually know how to not get grabbed.
Well, and just love the matchup. IBDW is one of those type. But I think Lucky's kind of a tough first round draw for him. And the last time, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the last time he and SJ played was really ugly. But apparently IBDW...
Yeah, he's not good at that matchup, but he says that he's made a lot of adjustments to it on social media recently. He's very, very excited to play Falcons soon. So knowing IBDW, he's probably played 150 hours of Falcons on net play. And I'm good at this matchup now.
IBW Mega Grinder.
He probably has recorded it, sent it to Armada and everything.
He sent it to Armada. Armada doesn't even play.
Dude, I forget what... Ambi, you had the funniest way of describing it on a previous show. We were talking about IBDW and the Fox Marth thing, and you mentioned something yeah, he probably goes to sleep dreaming of situations against Marth, taking dream notes and shit like that.
He wakes up, just shit, I gotta write that down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember saying that, but that definitely does sound like something I would say. So
take credit for it.
I'm game, dude.
All right. One other thing I want to ask you guys, as far as other potential seeds to win the event, opposite of SJ, within the same side of the bracket, but just on the other end. Projected for a meetup with him as winner semis. I know SFAT gave SJ a bit of trouble for a little bit last year, but SJ recently won a tournament over him, didn't he? I wonder
Fight for SoCal. He in winners finals, and then grand finals was close, but then SJ won.
Yeah, I kind of
right.
SJ has been on a mini hot streak before, and I actually. Full disclosure, I worked on a commentator fact sheet for some of the commentators to inevitably ignore during the actual...
we worked on it. We worked on it.
Yeah,
we worked on it.
During the actual event. And one of the things I wrote that was that SJ has actually been on a bit of a mini hot streak over the last 7 months or so. He previously won Dome Park in the Grass 2018 over Zayn in Swedish. He won the Roast of Hugo over Zayn all the way back in September. And he just got 7th at Genesis 6, beating Axe. This could, we were talking about how the lack of gods at a tournament can sometimes create parity. And SJ is one of those guys that I feel that actually kind of helps him a lot, because he tends to struggle a lot against the really tippity top tier. But against everyone else, his records kind of just even out.
I feel SFAT is even more so though. I feel the reason that SFAT was sort of overshadowed on MPGR was just that he was 0-15 against the top 7 or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's a more extreme for him even than it is for SDJ. Just SFAT right now has literally no capability of upsetting the really, really strong players. So it's an interesting matchup because they're both sort of similar, but one's a little bit more extreme in that respect than the other, I think.
Yeah, and I mean in SFAT's case, it was just it was also always so unfortunate because it would be the same story every time, right? Like he'd go to an event, like lose to a god or something, then have to play Zane for 9th, and like
lose every single time.
Every single time he was like 0-10 with Zane, right? Or something,
yeah, it was something like that, and it'd be like, oh, SFAT has to play Zane, but then SFAT has to play Zane turned into SFAT has to play Spud, or SFAT has to play PPU. Man, what happened? The Marth Fox metagame just went against SFAT all of a sudden.
SFAT has to play PPU here.
Yeah, remember that stretch of time? Okay, funny thing about these two, SFAT for like a year and a half or something just had this long stretch of beating down PPU so badly that that PPU at one point, like, I think this is the low point of their little rivalry, tried to Fox-no him. And got,
yes, I do remember that.
I remember that.
That's
yeah,
one of my favorite moments.
But then
that was back when PPU tried to ditto a bunch of people. He like cheek ditto people too. It was
yeah. He turned it around though. Like PPU beat him last year. Man, could this be the PPU? Well, the thing with PPU is that he's got to play KGH to get to SFAT, and KGH beat him both times last year.
I'm really excited for KGH to do his new thing over and over again. You know, you ever seen that?
The get up shield the eye.
I saw IBW use it a bunch in like friendlies against Zane on net play, and it's pretty cool. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, he did it.
I can't wait for him to do it like 4 times and then Pew Pew to make a face in the player cam.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
it'll be really good.
I was gonna say like IBW literally did that like the first day that KGH released it. Yeah. He's just like
it's not that bad. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it did. I believe it was covered in a Smashboards thread like back in 2015 or 15ish or something. I remember reading about it, so seeing KJH bring it back up is pretty cool. Okay, so we talked Zane, we talked SJ, we talked SFAT. Honestly, this is gonna sound really mean, but like I think Swedish kind of has a free path to winter semis, unless he plays Rishi instead of Duck. But I don't think that'll happen.
I think Duck can beat him. I think Duck can beat him.
Dude, I don't know. Swedish is one of those players that like he's not going to lose to a character like Samus, even if it's Duck, or even if it's like
you say that, but then he'd beat Hungrybox.
I
don't know, man.
Hot take. I think Swedish Delight is a harder opponent. I think Swedish Delight is like S2J level, really difficult for Duck to beat. Like I think he's just never going to lose to him.
Didn't Duck beat Swedish last year?
No, Swedish was like 6-0 on him. You can double check this right now, but I remember specifically looking this up, and Swedish being like 6-0 or 5-0 or something, and these are not like close sets.
Hugs beat Swedish last year. Hugs beat Swedish.
That's even worse.
I think this is like a S2J level mind block.
I disagree. It's definitely not Falcon level.
Unless Swedish goes Falcon.
Yeah, then it's done.
It's fucking over.
You see Swedish's Falcon? He went Falcon at a local and he lost to Qerb. So
the Qerb is. I'm not gonna say it.
Qerb is attending this tournament, just so you know. He could.
What's Qerb's path? Can we dive deeply into this?
Destroy Cobb.
Yes, let's take a look, please.
He's gonna barely beat Ferris Wheel. He's gonna destroy Cobb. And then he plays Swedish Delight. It's perfect opportunity to warm up his Falcon against the most powerful opponent that he's ever faced.
Well, in losers right now, he has Rick into. Are you guys looking at the projected winners path or losers?
We're looking
at winners,
pools.
Dude. This pool.
Oh wow, okay. Because
he's gonna destroy Cobb. Because
he's projected to. Wait, you guys think Cobb is gonna lose to Qerb?
Dude, I think Qerb's making it out of this pool in winners.
What?
I think Qerb beats Cobb, and then Cool Kid beats Papa and Swedish Delight, and then loses to Qerb.
I don't think that. I think Qerb is definitely gonna beat Cobb.
I think Cool Kid's gonna go Sheik or something.
I feel like Qerb beating Cobb is like not controversial.
I definitely think it'll happen, but I think him beating Ferris will be quite difficult for him. So
what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude.
No, it's
Ferris
Falco.
Wheel's so good.
You don't think Qerb has experience against Falco?
I'm sure he's got experience against Falco, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be hard.
Against the Ferris Wheel.
The Ferris Wheel, dude.
So you think Cobb is going to be easier than Ferris Wheel?
Yes.
Yes. Dude, Game & Watch destroys Peach. Are you kidding me?
Dude, can I just say Qerb is gonna hate the show so much? Like, we already called him a super execution testy player earlier.
He literally tried to compliment him by saying that. Like, it's not even that. It's not surprising at all that Lucky lost to Qerb. Qerb's so good.
Man, Qerb is just he's gonna hate us, dude. He got upset at Wheat. He had to analyze your video against Vincescent.
No, don't bring that up, dude.
And now Qerb's gonna listen to this podcast and be like, these idiots think I'm gonna lose to a Game & Watch. What's wrong?
It's not even that bad. Did you see what Qerb did to Mog and Rio beat a gang?
I did. Oh it was ugly.
I thought Qerb's like inactive though. Isn't he like focusing on Ultimate right now, like a lot of other players? That's sort of the reason I think he's gonna not do that well.
I think Qerb would beat him anyway, but I think now he's gonna destroy him because he's inactive.
Guys, we've been talking about a Game & Watch for like 3 minutes.
Dude, Qerb is far and away the most interesting player of this tournament.
I agree. He's so tall and so handsome, and he plays such a weird character.
Look, I'm just upset I lost to him. That's it.
It comes out. It comes out.
I don't want to think about getting
This is what
forward
happens
airing
when you try to F smash his mistech every time.
Dude, he kept forward airing me, and I didn't know what to do. And then I looked at the set, like studied Game & Watch. I looked at Game & Watch's frame data, and it actually just like looking at our set again. It amazed me how badly I got outplayed. Ambi can attest to this. I literally just kept messaging Ambi like the week after gang. I was like, oh my god, Game & Watch is so bad. How did I?
You sent me like 150 messages, and I'm pretty sure.
Qerb is just so much better than you, dude.
Yeah, I was like, how did I get hit by like frame 10 aerials or whatever? Like,
frame 9 fair.
Yeah, frame 9. Yeah, I was like frame 9 fair. I just I was so scared of it. I have no idea why. Anyways, let's stop talking about me. Let's stop talking about Qerb. What else is there? Like, we dived all the way to losers bracket, so we may as well stay here. Do we think Rick has any shot at potentially making a run? He's the Indiana hometown.
Oh, he's gonna lose to Qerb.
Oh god.
Oh, Qerb's gonna make it out in winners.
You think Qerb's gonna make it out in winners? So.
But then he's gonna lose to Swedish.
Yeah, that's actually pretty rough for him.
That's a rough bracket for.
It's a rough bracket
for the hometown boy.
I don't know. It depends on how much Rick watches his Swift-based videos. I think if he watches the Swift-based, Rick, if you're listening to this, Swift-based versus Qerb Super Neps 3, just Google that, you'll be fine.
If he doesn't watch that, it's over.
Yeah, no, it's surprisingly difficult, but once you watch that set, that's the answer. Like, you'll be fine.
I just want the listeners to know, in case you're not familiar with this, Swift-based versus Qerb is in Ambi Sinister's top 5 favorite sets of all time.
It might just be my favorite set of all time.
What's your top 5, Ambi? What's your top 5?
Can we do this like after we dive? We have like an hour, so
yeah. So
we'll talk about this at the
surface. When we resurface.
What do you guys think of?
File that one away.
What do you guys think of Bobby Big Balls' path through losers? I expect him to
Big Balls. I'm looking for him.
I'm gonna probably.
He's definitely not going to be SCJ, but I think that
I don't think so either.
I think he's got a pretty decent bracket because I think he has a really, really good shot against Mike Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll beat Mike Hayes.
I don't think Michael is just like inferior Jerry, so I think that's also a pretty good draw.
Whoa, that's a take. You think Michael is inferior Puff Jerry?
Yeah, I think that Michael.
By the way,
rest in peace to
Jerry's
the legend.
Peace to the killer of my life.
Jack will probably be upset at me for saying this, but I think that Michael, the points that Michael has over Jerry is just against Full-Odies, and I think that he won't be demonstrably better versus Falco than Jerry was.
BBB started messing up Jerry.
I think that BBB is genuinely pretty good at that matchup now, so I think he's got a good shot versus Michael. Hugs will be very difficult for him.
BBB and Hugs actually have they have a funny little history where when they played for the first time, Bobby Big Balls, after losing, sent Hugs a note basically calling him.
Yeah, no, I remember this.
He basically was like, "Hey, I'm really glad that an old man like you can play a skillless character like Samus and gimmick your way to victories," or some like ridiculous thing like that. So something just like absurdly ridiculous to say to someone who's like literally been playing this game for like 15 years, but it was still really funny.
So I think it also should be noted that Hugs could beat Absent Page, and then Bobby could get Absent Page.
Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, no,
that could happen.
Oh man, is Bobby gonna get like 13th or 9th in this tournament? That'd be hilarious.
Top 8.
Dude, Wheat's gonna be so angry.
Top 8.
Dude, Wheat's gonna be so pissed.
What's gonna happen? Here's what's gonna happen. Hugs is gonna beat Absent Page, so Bobby's gonna beat Absent Page for 13th. KJH is gonna beat Pew Pew, lose to SFAT, and then Bobby's gonna beat KJH for 9th and make top 8.
Oh, that's such a cursed path.
It's
That's such a
possible.
real sounding thing.
Yeah, that
Normally
sounds
when
really
we do this
plausible.
on the shows, it's like, ha ha ha, this could happen, and it would be really funny. But that was frighteningly real sounding. That could actually happen.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man.
So, of course, because we're talking about Bobby, I feel like it's only appropriate that we say as an addendum to all of this, he could do this, but he also might go like 2-2.
He could also just lose to Riche.
Yeah,
Could
like,
lose to Reach.
he might side
Reach
B
is pretty good.
he might side B off the stage like 4 times in a set. Blow a.
He also has to play Shinobi, which is not easy.
Yeah, he could lose
Shinobi.
to Shinobi.
Yeah, I think Shinobi is a very difficult 3rd seed for him.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
very interested in that. set.
Shinobi's one of those guys that like. So Shinobi is the best in Missouri.
That's number 1 in Missouri.
Yeah, number 1 in Missouri. Shinobi, like Bobby, has a lot of experience in the Fox matchup again, and like a lot of good wins and a lot of good wins over the last year over people like Hacks, Cobalt, like Milkman, and
Sure.
stuff. But one thing about Shinobi, about Bobby, is that he tends to kind of not do as well against the Fox players that don't like. I don't know how to put it. Like they just don't like run at him or get like scared. So. For example, last year against Bob-omb, he went pretty negative on him. He also had losses to a few other Fox players. I know PRZ beat him at Shine. So, like, it is a very strong point matchup. But Shinobi's one of those guys that, like, he's not going to fall for, like, 50-50 traps.
Yeah, I mean, he's existed for like 10 million years. The thing is with Shinobi is that in my head, like, his skill level is just a bunch of question marks. You know, I've got no idea.
And that's
he's
and
the
that's
student of Dark Atma, dude.
and
Yeah. Every time I see him play, I'm like, man, this guy's sick.
And that's
And
the kind of player that I think could give Bobby a
Yeah.
hard time. Like one.
So
that's
it's a
just not
difficult
gonna-
3rd seed for him. But I don't think he'll have any problem with like Eggy and losers or whatever. So I think
No, I
that
doubt it. Well, although the funny thing, Eggy's one of those guys. Again, he's ranked in Chicago. I don't think he has a big win out of region. So collecting Bobby big balls on his name, if the right situation
stars
happens.
line.
Yeah, it's not impossible for it to happen. But again, this is literally predicting like how Bobby big balls will do. Right? We have no.
Actually, wait. Hold on. All right, no, this is good. So Bobby needs to throw to Shinobi because this is the
okay.
freest losers bracket of all time.
All right,
Bobby,
let's
if you're
see.
listening, you need to throw. So he has to be Eggy to get to losers, and then his path is Squid, NMW, KJH, Captain Faceroll, Absent Page for top 8.
Free besides
Which is
Facebook.
like what we were saying could happen in the cursed path, but that's just his actual path. If he loses to Shinobi.
Besides face roll.
Yeah, face roll is pretty difficult, but everyone else in there is like,
Squid's gonna be tough. He has to fight the Squid's preparing for a Falco exhibition in like a month.
I don't know, like is Squid that good against Falco? I was under the impression that he was like pretty below average at it for his own skill level.
I'd say he's average.
Like he loses to like Mega Christmas and stuff a bunch of times.
Yeah, but it's also the Falco
He's
dinner.
very, very
like
positive.
it's
Noah.
like it's naturally one of those things where like even if you're really good on it at the matchup, above a certain baseline, like sometimes you just lose,
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Big Balls is just like good enough to top 8 this tournament. Maybe he's just like that good now.
What do we think of our champagne boys? So it's like the 4 Foxes, Zamu.
I don't drink champagne.
Wow. It's like Zamu, PRZ, Shabo, Fox Capacitor. It's funny. I kind of think all those 4 guys are in the same like vein of Fox players. Like they're all just kind of like this same person to me, but each like slightly better or worse than the other ones.
It's gonna have your head for saying Zamu is the same as them.
No, it's not that they're the same. It's just that they all like are the super like force knockdown, like tech chase you with up smash. You know what I mean, Amvi? Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's rough for them in this bracket. I know you mean playstyle was, but
yeah.
I'm looking at the bracket. Like PRZ has Dreffen, which I think is just not happening.
Wait, you don't think that's? I thought PRZ beat him before.
I know
PRZ
Zamu beat him. I don't know if Dreffen did. Or he
I
beat
think
Dreffen.
PRZ has beaten him, but
Really?
I want to say Dreffen's positive. It's Dreffen. Dreffen has PRZ into Shabo. He's gonna be the Champagne Slayer.
Yeah. But I think York is gonna beat Shaba.
I think Travioli is gonna
Your
beat Zamu.
Unless York wins in pools. against Boyd.
I think
Which
Travis
could
is
happen.
going to beat Zamu. So,
That's pretty
like,
sad. I don't want that to happen.
For like
beats
what, the
Zamu,
third time, fourth time,
time at least.
fifth?
It's like 1,000,001 the record.
Is it really that bad? I know that he's lost to him a bunch of times before. I didn't know it was that bad.
Zamu's only beaten him like once.
Damn.
Man, I wonder if that'll get changed.
No, it shouldn't. Zamu has to prove himself.
Dude,
Beat Lucky.
I just saw something really, really cool in Losers.
Is it a bet on Marth?
No, it's okay. I think this is going to be my sleeper pick for set of the tournament, and it's going to last like. My prediction is that this could last like 21 minutes, and it's.
Are you gonna say hugs, Michael? Tell me you're not gonna say hugs,
No.
Michael.
No, I think no. My pick is going to be Bladewise versus the Real Thing if it happens.
No, oh, no, I don't want to listen to this.
I think
Oh, it's okay. Fizz is going to be Bladewise again and save us.
I think Bladewise the Real Thing, if it happens, we're gonna watch them strike to like Dreamland or something, and the first game is just gonna set the tone for the rest of the set.
That'd be funny. Laser.
Yeah, what was that tweet you had, Ambi, that was really funny? That I will laser you 1,000,000 times.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
Yeah.
I am the real thing.
You had another really good one that I liked from a while ago.
I love the real thing tweets. He's got such a name that can be used as a punchline. It's really good.
That picture,
I've never heard that one before. That was so funny.
Ambi had a great one of like a photo of a show, and the subtitle said, "Are you the real thing?" And Ambi's caption is like, "When I play a Falco or like a net play Falco that shoots 1,000 lasers at me."
That's sort of our line, which makes it even funnier. Jesus Christ. Press one for all the weebs in the chat.
Dude,
The non-existent chat.
Who are the other NEOH people? There's Jake and Shaken, Boyd, Holiday, yeah.
What was I gonna look at? Spinda is at this tournament, and she's not seeming to make it out. She has someone that I was like surprised. Let me see if I can find her. I remember
Kez up his ear.
Spinda had an interesting bracket.
So I don't think we've ever brought up Spinda before, but again, I think she recently got ranked number 4 in NEOH. She on the older Pittsburgh power rankings. She was number 9 on it, and I believe she has
way better.
Yeah, I believe she has a lot of like really good wins in her region and like around the NEOH Pittsburgh area. But I don't think Spinda has ever had I don't think she's had a breakout like larger regional tournament yet. So depending on her bracket here, I can definitely see it happening. Like she's gotten a lot better.
She's seeded 5th in this pool, which I don't know if is something I would agree with. It's a B3. She's got J Bash round 2, which is surprisingly interesting.
Yeah.
That could go either way.
Yeah, but she's seeded to lose to J Bash, and then she's projected to lose to Blue Buster, which I think she'll beat Blue Buster.
I think she could be Blue Buster's pretty good.
Yeah, it's sort of up in the air. I think Spinda could beat either of them, and she'll need to beat both of them to make it out. So
one thing with the pools, I just want to say, I don't think they're finalized yet. They still have to account for regional conflicts.
Right.
They want to make sure it's moved around. But yeah, I would be on the lookout for Spinda. She's slowly,
I can see her like making a pretty interesting run at this tournament.
Yeah, she slowly improved over like the last 2 years, but in the last like 3 or 4 months or so before school started up again, and she started like track or whatever, she just got way better. So
yeah, I agree.
Watch out for her.
I can see her making it out into top 48 for sure.
What do we think of Nicholas M. Whittier's chances? Because he's another guy that I wanted to see at this. Oh, he's another guy that I was curious of how he'd do at this tournament. He got ranked like pretty high last year.
After he was on my draft and he completely disappointed me, I have no faith in him anymore.
Oh, in the fantasy draft?
He does have Duck to make it out.
Oh my god, please.
I feel bad for Duck.
Jackzilla, Louis, if you guys are listening to this, please, I beg you, keep NMW versus Duck.
To be honest,
Sorry, Duck. I
NMW
gotta.
is gonna lose a lowercase hero anyway, so.
Or Matt.Zeb.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I think NMW is gonna win like a surprisingly close game 1 and then 3 stock or JV4 Matt.Zeb.
Not even gonna play Matt.Zeb.
Matt.Zeb's not gonna make it to NMW.
Oh, come on.
Vista's gonna beat Matt, dude. Vista's good.
Right. Matt's like what?
Yeah, no, Matt would have to make the upset, and Matt is definitely not in practice.
Dude, Duck has winner of
He's a 6 seed
NMW
or something.
Vista. I feel so bad. He has a Falcon.
Is there any bracket possible where we could see free Palestine
Dude,
Duck?
what if? Dude, I can see, NMW in winners quarters. That's what I'm talking about. NMW beats Duck, and then he beats Rishi winners round 1.
Oh,
He has to play Swedish, and
he has to play Qerb.
Yeah, he has to play Qerb. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Real talk. I don't know how if in some bizarre world NMW versus Qerb happens. I actually have no clue how that set turns out.
No, Qerb's actually good versus Falcon. He'd probably win.
I don't think he'd beat Ginger though. That's the thing. That's the scary one for him.
Yeah,
in this bracket, sure.
Win the tournament is what we're saying. If he can get past Ginger.
Yeah, that's
Ginger,
the final boss. Ginger's like top 10, dude.
Yeah,
he is.
Ever since Ginger had that kind of fluky run to 7th at Genesis, and we all kind of laughed about it. Then suddenly he just destroyed everyone in losers bracket at the script, and it was like, oh shit, Ginger's actually.
And then he got 2nd at House of Pain.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, Ginger actually got so much better. Like he was powered up. It was all those scrimmages, dude.
It's the tattoo he got after getting top 8 at Genesis.
What tattoo?
I don't know. He said he was getting a tattoo.
The top.
He definitely just got the Genesis logo stamped right on his ass. You know what I'm saying? And that was all he needed to become a top 10 player.
He just has like two mini tattoos. One of them just has his victory over Fat Goku, and the other one says 7th place at Genesis.
Dude, he's just gonna be like a NASCAR object. You know, like he's gonna get better and better. He's gonna get a tattoo with the logo of every tournament he makes top 8 at. And he'll retire. He'll be like 35. He'll just have tattoos of different tournament logos all over his body,
everywhere.
What?
This is like the second favorite ridiculous melee headcanon that I've come up with recently. Like, my favorite is definitely when I was at Gang, and I saw Lint, right? And Lint had just played Get a War Machine, and like completely demolished him.
They beat him bad.
And and Jesse gave him his like big straw hat, and was like, take this and go to the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Lynn, and he was like, yeah, you know, he gave me this after I messed him up real bad in the bracket. I was like, wouldn't it be funny if there was a melee tournament where every time you beat someone, you got a piece of their clothing, and like grand finals is between 2 people with just like tons of objects of clothing and like 4 hats on. And he's like, that'd be pretty weird. I was like, wait a minute,
the winner gets all of it.
That'd be
so
funny.
Gets all of it.
I just want to see 2 players playing melee on stage with like a whole tower of hats on.
You can make it
It
happen.
would just be so good.
You can make it happen.
Dude, I'm imagining just like Absent Page being in grand finals of regional, just like decked out. He's got like a scarf. He has a bunch of hats. He's wearing like a ton of socks at the same time, but he's just sitting down.
But his face doesn't change.
Yeah, dead serious. It's like
Dude,
Absent Page versus like Reeve or something. Reeve is like laughing about it or whatever, and Absent Page is still
dead serious. 7 coats on.
Absent Page versus like, who'd be the silliest player to play against?
In this
Michael?
bracket or just in this clothes regional?
Would it be like Michael? I want to see Michael like that with this big ass smile.
Dude, Michael could fit a lot. Michael's hella tall, dude. Have you seen him?
Yes, I have. He's very tall.
I'm trying to. Oh,
Let's not indulge this anymore.
Yeah, there's one player I wanted to bring up with you guys. Also, Sunsei. I think he's been.
I think Sunsei's so good. I think he's like.
He's number 4 in Ontario right now, behind Jamron.
But he should be number 3.
Moki and Ryan
He
Ford.
should be number 3. He should be number 3.
So
I don't know. I can see him beating like Free Palestine, maybe.
I think he's gonna beat Dreffen in winners.
You think he'll beat Dreffen? I think that's a little much for me.
But I like
I don't
Dreffen.
think- I don't think he'll beat Dreffen.
Dude, you think Dreffen can't lose to Sunsei? Dreffen's lost to... Look at Dreffen's history with Ontario Foxes.
Dude, Dreffen's like 9-0 versus the 10th best player in the world, Ginger. He's gonna destroy Sensei. Dreffen is invincible. You can't convince me otherwise.
He has the gimmicks, dude.
Dude, Dreffen is just Borp with wave dashing. Of course, he's just the best player of all time.
Dreffen is original Borp. All he does is grab. Shout out
dude.
to that combo video.
How about you say the actual?
but...
How you say the actual title, Edwin?
Don't actually do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a hard pass on that. This was like when we were
Shout
talking
out to Baxon, by the way.
Yeah, when we were talking about Baxon, and I told Save to look up Baxon's combo video, and Save just on the podcast goes, "Whoa, yeah, not touching that with a 12.5 foot pole."
That sounds very safe.
Yeah, he said something along
Despite the
those
fact
lines.
that it has some sick Falco play.
Despite the fact.
Guys,
That would be my favorite saveism.
he hasn't. I love Save, but he's been taking a little bit of a break. I talked to him about this. He's been taking a little bit of a break from doing previews. So I feel we should do we should sort of like fill in the gap, right? Like Save is taking breaks from tournament previews and sort of Smash content, like going every other week or so. Why don't we how do you think Save would preview this tournament?
What's up, guys? Save is entitled here. Full Bloom 5 is another installment in the Indiana University's famous, powered by Player One Esports, 2-day event.
And that's no different this year, despite the fact that
I
all the
can't
gods.
use that script. He's too scripted.
Yeah, and
It's so hard
despite
to
the
do,
fact
bro.
that all the gods are actually secretly sellouts,
Or not so secretly.
or not so secret.
Not secret at all, actually.
Okay. Sorry, we got a little distracted there. I miss Save.
They are sellouts, though.
Um,
Not dude. Not sorry.
Not sorry at all.
How do we feel about Rocky versus Cobb?
About it. Qerb's gonna
I
be.
feel like Cobb's gonna win. I just feel like it's not possible for Falcos to be good versus Peach.
I don't even think Rocky Cobb is even gonna happen, like at all.
You don't even think the Falco Peach thing applies to the real thing or Bobby Big Balls?
No, I don't. I really don't think it's possible for Falcos to be good versus Peach. Like, I think that it's like pretty even. I don't think that Falco loses to Peach, but I think every Falco loses to Peach. I don't really care how good you are. You'll just lose to like random New Jersey down smash Peach or something.
What about Mango?
Do you know Mango's rival plays Peach?
Ow.
Did you know that? He loses.
Got me. I didn't even think about that.
Most of the time he loses.
Oh my god, I just realized. You're right. This matchup is impossible.
What about
It's like Falco Peach is like Marth Sheik, but what they actually think it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like the same thing.
No, I follow what you're saying.
I just want to say I've always thought Peach beats Falco.
You might be right.
Who
That's
knows?
kind of a hot take.
Dude, let's all agree with me for once.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
What kind of game? I definitely think the cop's going to beat Rocky. Though.
What?
I hope that this makes up for the fact that I was pretty confident that Cobb would lose to Qerb.
But if he loses to Qerb,
If he's good enough to beat the Qerb, he's definitely good enough to beat Rocky.
but if he beats
That's
Qerb,
way
that's
easier.
it actually is. But he has Aurelia the round before, so.
Is it really playing? Like, see, like.
Aurelia's actually on a very, very small come up right now at the locals. He's like beating Michael way more often now.
That's cool.
Michael
Good.
is,
kind of underperforms at locals, in my opinion.
Yeah, Michael, I looked at his. I believe I brought this up last year at some point, but I guess I'll just restate it again. Michael, I looked at some of his local records, and he's still like mostly positive on his contemporaries, and with a notable exception in Kells, who he was like 21-75 against or something.
Now this year so far, he's negative on Kells again. He's like, it's like 3-12 right now.
That's rough.
He's
All right,
like,
you guys ready for this? This is my take of the day.
Mhm.
Boy.
Let's go.
Michael is just Midwest Swift base.
Cause I was gonna say Michael does so well at like I looked at his records at nationals.
Every tournament that doesn't include players that he plays with frequently,
he just does well.
Just over people.
He just like suddenly rolls up.
Like in region, Swift base is like ranked below like Tim the Guy, and he goes out of region. He beats like Shabo and Mike Hayes with his box controller.
He beat Shabo and Mike Hayes. The best part about this is he lost to like Daddy's Milk and Marcos like a week.
No, it
something like
it wasn't
that.
Daddy's. He lost to Ryfish and Tim the Guy the week before.
He definitely
he
has
lost
lost
to
to Daddy's Milk.
He's lost to Daddy. Maybe I
That
don't think
wasn't like
Daddy's-
immediately before. That was like the most recent tournament was those two.
I thought he lost also to like Marcos or something.
I think Marcos has a Tim win. I don't know if it was like immediately around Shine though.
Look, point is, I fully agree with you. Yeah, on board.
Point is,
not so hot, I guess.
Is not.
I don't think he's Peacecraft anymore. He's 00_Swift now, I think.
I mean, he's Peacecraft in the bracket right now, at the local today.
Yeah, he changed his Twitter. He's _Swift_00.
Why is he still Peacecraft at the local?
Dude, do you know how many things he has to change whenever he does this?
This is not. This is nothing new. This is nothing new for Tim. He always goes.
You just go back to like Gibson 0.
No, that was the worst one.
It's so bad. He's Swift based. Every time he tries to make it different, it never works.
Dude, I tried to get him to be called Phantom Rectangle when he switched to the box for the first time, but it never caught on. I was pretty sad about that.
This is of course. I'm assuming a slight callback to the time he tried going as the Phantom Renegade.
That's correct.
Okay, I'm only explaining for people listening to this who have no idea what we're talking about.
Dude,
Reference, Ambi and I, we started playing Melee in Connecticut, so we know Swift Base.
I love you, Tim, if you're listening to this, which you're definitely not.
Definitely not. Dude, the few commentators listening to this are going to be so angry. They're going to be like, why are you talking about Swift Base?
Dude, we don't even know what the pools are.
Yeah, how can we even talk if we have the pools?
Like, this is like, yeah, you know,
pools.
Dude, I'm so.
Right.
Can I just say I'm so annoyed? My initial plan for the show was to go by the pools and pick out our favorite matches.
You have like this whole thing right
yeah,
now.
Anoke sent us like a fucking like 700 word outline of what we were gonna talk about, and I'm like sitting there listening to like weeb music, and I'm like, I did not prepare for this.
I didn't prepare at all either. I was listening to my weed music. And
yeah, dude, and he just comes at us with 700 words, and I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like,
well, the thing is, you guys didn't change my mind on this. My mind was changed on this by messaging
your
Jack.
own frantic panic attack that you had.
Frantic panic attack upon Jackzilla telling me, "Hey, dude, the pools aren't finalized yet. I don't know about diving into each of them because a lot of them could change." And I was like, "What?
Yeah.
You just scrapped my plan for the show."
Yeah, definitely don't super take what we're saying super seriously because it's like mostly us being...
But also take us extremely seriously.
Yeah, and just know that we're always right about everything, and that even when we're wrong, we're actually like.
When we're wrong with what we say, the stats actually back us up.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so really don't question us at all.
Ever.
Like just blindly listen to us.
All right, so let's talk about something actual though. Who do you think is going to have the best performance relative to their seed in this tournament? I
think it's going to be Bobby Big Balls.
You think it'll be Bobby? I think it'll be NMW.
I think it'll be Hyunis.
Who the hell is that?
Marth man.
Okay, so the only reason I bring up Hyunis is because I want to tell the story. Okay.
Of course, Edwin wants to talk about a Marth
derail
man.
us.
No, this is okay. This just I need to get this out of the way and just know that I have to let it.
Dude,
be
tell
known.
the story.
Okay,
Say it.
Sorry. So, legend has it that Hyunis, now ranked number 15 in Chicago, once played the Crimson Blur in a money match, but it wasn't money on the line.
Story.
It was actually the fact that the loser had to draw a picture of the other person. So Hyunis won.
That's awesome. That's so sick.
So
Andy, do you not know the story?
No, I didn't know that story.
This is a great story.
So Hyunis won, and in the Twitch office or something, I forget who it was, but apparently they walked by and they just saw like Blur drawing a picture of like he's drawing a picture, and they noticed like Hyunis' photo, and they were like, "Blur, what are you doing?"
You didn't even say the best part of the story is that Hyunis challenged
Blur because Hyunny's is a really good artist, and Hyunny's plan was to lose.
Yeah,
to a picture of
throw
Blur.
a picture of Blur. He's just beat him.
Then he lost. That's so sad. Oh no, that's so terrible.
Okay. Hyunny is a respectable ranked player in Chicago, but
He's okay.
that's literally the only reason I wanted to bring him up, just so I could tell that story.
So yeah, my pick for
So what's your actual answer, Edwin? I know that Pika's is Bobby Big Balls, which is a very reasonable pick.
I don't want to pick someone like Bobby because I think it's just like it's one of those things where it's just like really tough to say either way. But I think one guy I would definitely be on the lookout for is for my sleeper, it would be the Real Thing. I think his loser's path is really doable. Like between J Bash, like I kind of I joked about the Bladewise set, but like Bladewise tends to kind of like he's sort of been taken to the brink before by Bobby Big Balls. And the Real Thing is
don't bring up that set. That's
yeah, and he's lost to like Lavinji, Rocky, and stuff. And the Real Thing is just kind of like safe Bobby Big Balls. And then like
Bobby Big Balls is actually safer than
when he wants to be. When he wants to be, but then sometimes Bobby Big Balls will just do double jump down air, and just like keep doing that over and over again or random other stuff. But yeah, anyways, Real Thing I think definitely a name like looking at his loser's path. It's like J Bash. Bladewise, then he has to play Ginger and a Falco Ditto, which I actually think is like, again, like just because of the innate variance of the matchup and because of the Real Thing's playstyle, I could see that sort of like going decently.
Do you think
well
the Falco Ditto is that variant? I don't actually really associate that matchup with variance in my head. I feel like it's super control based because of the lasers. I don't know, man. I feel like,
dude, I think the way I would put it is that the Falco, like, it is based on control, but like it's like extremely tight positional control, right? So it's kind of like a thing where like you could have control over a situation, but if you just like do something wrong or like you misposition yourself just a little bit, like you might die, you know? So like,
I don't know. It's like the way I think about that matchup is it's like, I think the only reason that it's particularly variant is just because the Falcos are not that great at it relative to their other matchup spread because they have to deal with lasers, which is hard. I don't think that the matchup itself is particularly variant. Like, maybe that's just like nitpicking a little bit because like I think that like a lot of Falcos will like randomly lose at it all the time. So like in that sense, I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
It's just, like,
so maybe the thing is not. So I think what you're saying is that the matchup itself, like I think you're drawing a slight difference. You're saying the matchup itself is not like high variance. It's just like how Falco plays.
Yeah. Like in the same way that like Ice Climbers Fox is high variance.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. I think that's a fit. I agree with that. I'll adjust to what I'm saying to fit that. I think. That's I don't know how important of it is as a distinction.
Yeah,
from
sorry.
what
That might be a
result.
little bit too nitpicky for what you were getting at. But yeah, no, I see what you're saying. It's just
yeah, because then like it's after Ginger, he plays Rishi or Boyd, which I think are doable for the Real Thing. The Real Thing had that really cool set with Reeve at the National Arcadian.
yeah, that was a cool set.
So again, like
Cool set, like as someone that likes results. Not really to watch.
Yeah, to watch it's like interesting, but it's also just the Real Thing shooting a bunch of lasers.
To be fair, Game 5 of that was pretty cool.
And the Real Thing's very good. I just think he has a good path, and he could play luck. I guess lucky to make it to top 8 would be tough. But if I had to pick a Midwest sleeper, like someone that people don't know about, that's the guy I'm gonna go with.
That's a fair answer.
Yeah, I think we all gave reasonable answers.
Wait, hold on. I completely forgot your.
How about like an unreasonable answer?
Wait, I completely forgot what you two said.
Up?
Who's gonna fuck people up?
I said NMW. Pika said Bobby Big Balls.
Right. Okay.
And you said the Real Thing.
The Real Thing.
All pretty reasonable.
Well, you know my unreasonable pick. It's got to be Qerb.
You know who I think is gonna get 13th of this tournament?
Oh.
Aura.
Aura, the flyout.
I could
himself.
see that. I could see it. Or maybe he just.
Yeah, his bracket right now, like I don't know if it gets changed, but it's Zamu, Rick, Hugs, and Michael. So he'll definitely lose to Michael. But
not if Bobby Big Balls gets there.
That's true. If he gets to Bobby Big Balls, he might get 9th. Can you imagine Aura at 9th?
Dude,
that matchup's not winnable.
Dude, that'd be sick, dude. Because he's getting flown out. So.
Is he really to this tournament?
He won the Don't Park flyout.
He did win that. That's actually funny.
He got like
That's what I should
17th or something.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah, no.
He got, I think, 13th, and then he beat Flo Hebro and somebody else good to get the fly out in the round
Ara's
robin.
definitely really good. I definitely can see him doing well at this tournament. But like, I wouldn't put money on it. But if it happens, you heard it here first. That's all I'm saying.
Definitely heard it here first.
Okay, one other. So you're talking about players that we unreasonably have a ton of faith in, right?
Yeah.
Your Marth name.
Let me think. I said the real thing earlier for players that I have.
Dude, you can't give the real thing for both players.
No, I have even better. I have Mini the real thing. R&R. That's my pick.
Oh my god, R&R.
My pick is another super control-y laser shooting movement, like moving around.
The viewers don't even know who R&R is, dude.
That's my pick. No, hold on. I'll have an actual pick. R&R is very good, but okay, no, I have a pick. It's Tutran. I think Tutran's gonna do it, dude.
Answer.
I think Tutran is gonna like destroy some like random Marth player that
That's Fendi. He has Fendi.
Oh yeah,
that's very
Dunzo. Fendi's finished. Fendi's busy like writing bills for Congress and shit. You think he's gonna be ready for Tutran? No, sorry. Fendi's a fan of the show, so I don't think. But I think it would be a grave honor of his to lose to Tutran.
Yes. And then Tutran's gonna beat Michael. Tutran's gonna be Michael. Then he's gonna
and then Aura will get 9th because my dog.
My man, Aura. Man, oh my god. And then Qerb's gonna be in winter semis. Oh man.
Wait, hold on. How did Qerb get into winter semis from this?
He's gonna beat Qerb. He's gonna beat Swedish's Falcon. He's gonna barely beat Ginger. Then he's gonna beat
I love Ginger being barely. like all the other ones are gonna be like Rios, you know what I'm saying? But Ginger, that's gonna be a tight battle.
Wait, that's the thing you're gonna point out, and not the part of Swedish going Falcon against Qerb?
No, we talked about this.
Yeah, he went Falcon last time and lost. So
naturally he would go him again at a bigger
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he needs to warm up for Duck. Remember?
Yeah, right.
Too bad because Duck's gonna lose to NMW, who is gonna beat Rishi, and then Qerb's gonna beat NMW to make winter semis. He's gonna beat Zane because Game & Watch Marth is actually very bad for Marth, as seen by the set with Edwin Budding. And then he's gonna beat S2J because he's good versus Falcon, and he's gonna win the tournament. Qerb's gonna win.
I will jump off a bridge if Qerb wins this tournament for real.
He's not gonna beat Swedish.
Dude,
don't worry.
Melee is dead. If Game & Watch wins this tournament.
Melee is more alive than ever.
We'll get like 10 Twitlongers or something. It'll be like I just don't feel a passion for the game anymore.
Yeah,
Game & Watch just want to.
Everyone just doesn't want to interact with me.
The stupid character that can't even cancel.
Yeah.
Win a tournament.
I just didn't really like Qerb's use of the hidden Game & Watch technique of just 9-hammering me every time.
Just throwing sausages.
Okay, so I had an interesting thought the other day. I'm wondering what you guys think. This is loosely tied to my prediction that Aura will get like 9th, but it's also a thought that I actually had.
Right.
So
right,
like,
okay.
So Peach has this mechanic called the Stitch Face,
Yes.
right? And like, it's very improbable that like you just pull like 5 Stitch Faces in a set, but it's possible. You know what I mean? And there are a couple sets floating around where like one player gets like 3 or 4 in a set, and it's like really stupid, right? Like, I was thinking the other day about like what happens if like very mid-level Peach just has the luckiest day of all time. You know what I mean? Like just like a mid-level, like a maybe like a Rio beat or a maybe or something. What if they just get like 30 Stitch Faces in one tournament and like win Evo through winners? How sick would that be?
Like,
I think that would kill Melee forever.
I think it would get Stitch Faces modded out of the game if something
Right?
like that
And like I
happened.
just think it's so funny because like that's just probability. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing broken about Stitch Faces. But like if someone got so lucky to like win the lottery at a tournament and just get like Stitch Faces after Stitch Faces after Stitch Faces, like what would happen? What would the scene
Honestly,
do?
they'd probably be inspected for like cheating.
Yeah, I think the that Pittsburgh Pichu kid or whatever, or that Neo Pichu kid, one of the Peaches. I'm just saying that they're gonna have to reach out to that Pichu kid, be like, hey,
Like, what did you do?
Well, we know what he did. He did like this thing with the ports and
No, I just mean about the Stitch faces.
his face.
yeah,
Oh, him. Yeah.
they just like get to him and they're like, listen, I just need like one every 10 turnip pulls. That's it.
Dude. That would be imagine if you had the ability to get a Stitch face whenever you wanted. Would you use it?
What?
Would I have to play Peach to do that?
Yes.
No, I would not.
No,
Not
of course
use
not.
it? You would not use the ability to get a Stitch face whenever you want?
This is literally
No.
cheating, dude.
Not cheating, it's like your superpower.
You're literally. This is ridiculous.
If I just
Man.
had the power of good RNG, I could definitely go for some good RNG, honestly.
Ooh,
It's not
Andy,
good. It's not good RNG. Just pulling
hey,
Stitch face.
all right, guys. Here's another question, just as a follow up for guessing people to do unreasonably well. Who do we think will do unreasonably badly at this event?
SFAT.
How? What happens?
I think him beating Free Palestine would be really good. I think him beating Face Roll is just not happening.
Whoa! What? Oh, I guess you said unreasonable. Okay, that's
Yeah, and then I think if he loses Face Roll, he has to play Rocky, and we all know how that goes.
Wait, you're actually kind of so like.
No, I had this thought already. I was actually going to lead into
But
this
it's like,
later.
well, I mean, SFAT's gone really close with face roll.
Yeah, like SFAT hasn't like
And
typically.
Face Roll is like really good lately. He's like
Mhm.
super.
I think it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, like it's definitely
Like
possible.
if something
now.
unreasonably bad is going to happen to anyone, I think it's SFAT losing to Face Roll and then having to play the Falco that he never beats. And like for like what would that be for like 25th? Like
17th.
Yeah, 17.
17th? Yeah, that's hilarious.
I mean, we don't
Try to
know if
look
they're
at
gonna
what-
change. We don't know if they're gonna change the for the regional conflicts or whatever by top 48. But I mean, like Face Roll has he's never beaten SFAT's Fox across an entire set, but like he's gotten so close lately that it just it
Yeah,
does.
it feels like it'll happen eventually.
Yeah, like if they play enough sets, like eventually it will go in Face Roll's favor.
One for the unreasonably bad. Okay, so Duck's gonna lose to NMW.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, we agreed on that.
Mm-hmm.
Really do think that's probably gonna happen. And then Duck's gonna go through. He's gonna beat Fluid. He's gonna beat Squid. And then he's gonna lose to KJH for 17th.
Oh no!
Wow, that's cursed.
Hold on, how does KJH get there?
He's gonna lose to Pew Pew because he's gonna mess up the Marth stuff and die.
Yeah, dude, you're right. That's so possible.
Oh my
That'd
god.
be really sad, actually. Poor Duck. That's a rough
Poor Duck.
draw.
That's like his two demons right there. Feel bad for Duck.
You know, Duck beat None last year. It's not like Duck is somehow just totally hopeless, right? Like
It's been the only good Falcon he could beat, like historically, like for a long time.
yeah, but it's
None-
like NMW's really good, but it's not like him losing to Esther J a bunch or like Gotsu or whatever doesn't mean that like he's gonna lose to NMW automatically.
Anoke, just let me have this.
Duck like barely beats Money Mike and Jute. You know that?
Dude, Money Mike's sick. Have you seen Payday?
Dude, I'm
Money
out
Mike's
of
bad
here.
versus Camus, dude. He's like bad. He like loses to Pi.
All right, I think we've said everything that needs to be said about Full Bloom.
Yo, hold on. I'm not letting this go. We're saying ridiculous stuff all the time, and then we just go back to this Duck thing, and suddenly you're all like, oh, no, Duck's really good. Duck's going to destroy him.
Come on.
Is this really the card that you're pulling? We're having a good time talking about how everyone was just going to drown.
I think I
And
just forgot that.
This is the hill that you die on?
I forgot the bit. It just really like I was with the bit for a while and then I just like fell off and I don't know what happened.
This is how good I am. I'm so good at making you think that my bits
Like,
are all
why
real.
did you not bring this up when we were talking about Qerb winning the tournament? Like,
I literally said
that,
Qerb
was
gonna win.
that more reasonable to you than this conversation?
you didn't say anything.
I think it's more that the idea of Qerb just having the 9 hammer come out in every single swing. It was so ridiculous in my mind that
Doesn't even need the 9 hammer, dude. He could just win.
Like that, it was so ridiculous in my mind that I thought that like people listening to the podcast would immediately see it as that. But like people listening to the podcast hear us talk about NMW's path to winners quarters or something. Like they might like it still hovers in like the sort of outside opinion thing that I don't know. I just lost track of the bit, and I was very worried that the people listening to the show would not understand it. Who knows?
What you're saying is you think our audience is too dumb to understand.
I mean, have you seen the voting that we've been looking at?
Yeah, we've seen some.
We love all of you. We love all of you. We love all of you.
Except the ones of you that voted for the reset instead of press 1.
Okay, I think that ends our show. Is there anything else you guys want to say quickly before we wrap up?
Top 5 sets of all time.
I want to hear it.
Yeah,
Yes,
let's
we've
go, Andy.
resurfaced.
Go.
All right, not ordered. Genesis 1 Grand Finals. Genesis 2 Grand Finals.
Good list so far.
Taj versus Mango Losers Finals. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, go away.
I understand. This is a good list.
Keep this list.
Swift Base versus Qerb. Super Devs 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see how that fits in. What's your 5th one?
Do you remember that one set that Crush played Disc Kid?
Oh no.
And like went up 3 stocks to 1 and just started taunting.
Yeah, Royal Flush. I was there. I saw that live.
Yeah. That tournament. That's my 5th.
I like that. 3.
I miss Crush. That's my top 5.
I like that. 3 legendary all time. 3 like immortal sets of all time. Then Nash Swift Base Qerb, Crush. Wait, why is Crush and Disc Kid Biggie below Swift Base Qerb?
Murdered.
It wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Dude, Swift Base Qerb, like if you haven't watched that set, go fucking watch it right now. It's such an amazing set. You watch Qerb and like you're like, man, this looks almost like a real character. And then you watch Swift Base versus Qerb Super Nevs 3. And this is like Qerb was playing so good that day. Like Qerb like destroyed Slox the immediate round before. And then he plays Tim Tilly. And then just gets lasered. And like Tim doesn't even play that good. He just completely invalidates the character. And like Qerb just looks miserable. It's such an amazing set. I love it. Go watch it, please. It's my
favorite. You only got 3 good sets on there, dude. It was 2 Grand Finals and Qerb Swift.
Those are your 3 favorites from my list. That's fair enough.
You're gonna have to add to your honorable mentions the Real Thing versus Bladewise.
There's a lot of honorable mentions.
Versus Vincessant is an honorable mention, right?
I don't know.
Can you count your own sets?
I don't want to count my own sets.
That dude, Ambi, you're cool enough to do that.
I don't know. Maybe the time I mango lasered Frank Cook and then lost the set. Dude,
I didn't know you lost the set.
Yeah, no, I lost the set. That was the second set of Grand Finals, and I lost the second set.
Damn it, Ambi.
It was really funny because I did that, and then like the commentator got really mad at me, and that was my favorite part. You can't tell on the Jiffy Cat, right? Where I do the laser and then smirk a little bit. But the commentator at the time was like, "That's fucked up. He shouldn't do that. That's really disrespectful."
Disrespectful to you. That's disrespectful to me. It's like everyone.
All right.
Yeah, dude.
I think that's a good place to end the show, talking about Ambi's 5 favorite sets.
Yes.
They're really good sets.
Yeah, they're all really good. You guys should watch all of them. All of them.
Or them are watchable.
All of them equally as much. Thanks.
Yeah, they're all about the same.
Thanks for tuning in. Just so you know, we're gonna have a outro be the same song that you guys are listening to on the way in. So enjoy.
Just a skinny lad.
Won't you take me home tonight?
Never knew no good from bad.
Down beside the red light.